Okay. Hello, everybody. It is 2:15 in the Eastern Time Zone on Monday, February 3rd, as I record this. And the reason why that's noteworthy is because I was looking so forward to have this stream going live at 2. And then I realized I made the same mistake I made once before where I'm like, set the stream going. I'm like, why are we getting no viewers coming in? Why is nobody watching? Oh, because it's still set to private. So we set it to public and y'all came in and now it's wonderful. Welcome back to this little experiment in live streaming. Right now, it's just known as the Sean Ward Show News. But for right now, we might as well call this like a brand new episode 1. It's almost like a reboot because the previous two, I almost said issues. The previous 2 episodes, you'll notice that we got a little bit of a different scenery. I'm no longer high in the sky above the city of Metropolis, where Superman could fly by and take us out anytime. No. We got this lovely backdrop here that may be new to a lot of you, but anybody who's seen us at a Comic-Con in, let's see, places like our hometown of Toronto, of course, MegaCon in Orlando, LA Comic-Con, C2E2 in Chicago, what's that one? Emerald City Comic-Con in Seattle. Any of these Comic-Cons that you've seen us at, you would have seen this backdrop. This is the backdrop that we have for photos at the booth, and now it's the backdrop that we're putting up for this live stream. Hopefully you'll also notice that the picture looks a little nicer and the audio's a little nicer because we're actually getting to use the equipment that we wanted to use in the first place. We did not have that capability before, so we had to just go live with the built-in camera on the computer with the built-in microphone. But we got this wonderful piece of equipment, the Blackmagic Design switcher. It's all hooked up over here so you can't really see it, but is the box handy anywhere there? Do you have the box? Don't worry, it's across the way. Don't worry about it. Suffice it to say that the Blackmagic 4-camera switcher, we got it. And you just saw us switch between the 2 cameras. Let's do it again. Camera 1. Camera 2. You see that? We're switching between cameras. You know how we're able to do that? Because we got a switcher. You know what I'm saying? Lots to talk about when it comes to this, the show. We just did our brand new, epic, humongous, The Mandalorian epic parody movie. Now here's the thing. When we do anything to do with Star Wars, I know we're taking a risk. Because we've got the lock on the keywords when it comes to people typing in such words as Spider-Man, Avengers, Batman, Harley Quinn, the Joker. If anybody's looking for those kinds of topics, our videos are going to get served to them again and again and again. But when it comes to anything outside of that, it's a little bit tougher because we're not known for that stuff. So the Mandalorian parody is getting all kinds of awesome traction with you people out there. Even just with this live stream in the live chat, I saw a whole bunch of people telling us that the Mandalorian parody's dope. If you go in and look at the comments on that video, people are loving it. We're really proud of it. Part of the reason why is because it's one of the biggest special effects extravaganza things we've ever tried to do. It's nuts. It's so crazy that I gave the team an extra week to work on it in post-production. Val, do you think it's the biggest, craziest special effects thing we've ever done? Does anything else come to mind? Like even our Endgame stuff doesn't even.
The lighting.
Oh yes, that's a big part of it too. Is we started messing around with the lighting. So it used to be. So you take this backdrop here, take it down, and we've got the green screen behind us for how we do our usual videos. And what we've done up to now for years is set the lights up so it's nice and bright, and that's it. But now we're starting to experiment with like some lighting techniques, different colored lights, all this kind of stuff. And it's a whole new world with this. It's pretty crazy. Now, when it comes to our Mandalorian, let me show you some pics from the Mandalorian. Here's the Mandalorian counting his money from his latest bounty. And there he is, little baby Yoda. Little baby Yoda in his little baby Yoda crib. Oh, little baby Yoda in his little baby Yoda crib. Look at him go. Look at him go looking cute like baby Yoda does right there. That's a little puppet we had made for this. Okay, there's the group. Mandalorian. Cara Dune being handed the cradle with Grief Karga looking over his shoulder. Oh, it's little baby Yoda again. Look at him, he's all cute with his big eyes there. He's 50 years old. Doesn't look a day past 50. There's Danny Klupsch, our newest member of Team Super Funny, rocking it as Cara Dune in the Mandalorian video. And she did great. There's the Mandalorian counting his money in the actual scene from the video. He brings in a bounty, gets his cash. That's how bounty hunting works. So if you want to be a bounty hunter when you grow up, now's your chance. Okay, so here is Mandalorian giving the baby over to the villager. because she's going to take control. She's going to raise that baby, as you know from the show. And there's me as the client when I finally get the bounty coming in. The special bounty, the baby, he comes on in. And that's it. And then back to the top. Okay, so that's a few photos from our Mandalorian parody. Did you watch it? What did you think of it? I thought it was pretty awesome, and a lot of you apparently did as well. I'm just going to check on the live chat here. Spider-Man is very cool, says Tijvur. Oh, no. Tijvur, I think is how you say that. How do I become a member? Luke Obi8. Well, let me go to camera 2. Let me tell you. Here's how you become a member. Anywhere where you are watching the channel on YouTube, there's going to be a big button that says join. It's usually beside the button that says subscribe. You click that button, you select your options, you join. And then you get a little badge beside your name when you are in the chat. Ruben, this is going to be epic. Are you talking about the live stream or are you talking about the Mandalorian parody, dog? Yeah, a lot of Star Wars fans. A lot of Star Wars fans in here. By the way, can you make a Flash episode? That might be cool. That might be interesting. We usually do stuff for the movies, though. It's usually all about the movies for us. And we did have the Flash when we did the Justice League parody. That was fun. That was actually all kinds of fun. So you too can get in the live chat. Just get on the stream. Well, if you're watching this, you're already on the stream. Make sure you watch on the watch page and get in the live chat and chat with your fellow fans and viewers and members. And it's awesome. Amazing Izzy has asked, what inspired you to do these sort of videos? Well, stick around, Amazing Izzy, because we are going to be coming back to some of these more artist life-based questions after we cover the news. Now, speaking of the news, let me just get into some topics that we want to talk about right now. The other topic that we got to bring up is that while the Mandalorian parody was going up, we already undertook our next video parody, which is going to be the Birds of Prey trailer parody, okay? The movie's coming out this weekend. Everybody out there, let me know if you're going to see it this weekend, because this is going to be one of the biggest movies of the season. A lot of people are very excited for this movie, myself included. I got 24 tickets to go on the Saturday night, as well as some tickets to the premiere on Wednesday night. So I'll have seen it twice by the time we get to this weekend. But we are doing the parody trailer before we do the parody movie, and that's going to come out this weekend, the same weekend that the movie comes out. We've kept our Birds of Prey cast under wraps, and it's been tough because these costumes look so amazing, and these cast members are so good that we want to share far and wide how awesome these people are. So here's what I'll do. Give you a little preview. Are you ready for the preview of the Birds of Prey cast that we've got for the trailer parody coming up? Check this out. Danny, who you just saw as Cara Dune in The Mandalorian, here she is with a little poster that was made by Val, who's behind the scenes. Say what up, Val.
Hi.
Yeah, there's Danny as Harley Quinn in the fringe jacket look. Oh man, gonna be breaking a lot of hearts with this. Okay, so this right here was from when we did a costume test, okay? We got the costumes, we had her come on by, she put on the wig, she put on the costumes, and we knew this movie was gonna be amazing. Here's another one of Harley Quinn's looks. We got the t-shirt, and it looks great on camera. It looks great in this lighting. Okay, here's Maddie. You saw Maddie as Captain Marvel in a few videos. Now here she is as Huntress with the crossbow, looking fierce. Here's, I think, the same poster in here a second time. The poster's so nice, let's look at it twice. And here's this, don't you dare tell me that you're just gonna cycle through the first few images in the thing. I will be very upset if you're just gonna cycle through the first few images in the thing. Okay, that's exactly what it's doing. Let me look at why it's not showing me like the rest of the pictures. See, I'm looking at it right now, and I'm very plainly seeing that there's a large list of pictures in here. You can see it, right? Why is it not going? Tell you what, let's take these first few pictures just off the list and see what happens. Okay. I'll switch to the main window and then go back to the pictures. Okay, so it's gonna, here's your second look at Maddie doing the crossbow. Here's the thing, everybody, you gotta understand. This little experiment in live streaming is just like what we're doing to figure out how this stuff works and what we're doing with it. We're in a very experimental phase with this. And now you're getting to see these wonderful images. Here's one turned sideways, for example. Oh, man. So this is Caitlin as Black Widow. There she is doing... No, not Black Widow. I'm dumb. Black Canary. So many characters with the same word in it. She's this Black Canary doing the canary scream. Oh, there's Maddie with the crossbow again. Is it gonna cycle through just that first handful of photos again?
I think you might have to like cycle them and then like delete constantly.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what I'm gonna need to do. Okay, so let's take those 3 photos that it's cycling through out of there. And once it leaves this picture, hopefully we'll see a new one. Like I said, we're just working this, ironing out the kinks as we go here, figuring out how the software looks. Okay, there's a nice smoldering over the shoulder look at Black Canary. What's the next one gonna be? Okay, there's the girl gang right there on set. This was in the middle of the video shoot. We stopped and took a few photos. And these costumes look sensational. There's another look at them. There's the girl gang, the Birds of Prey. And I didn't even think to put a picture of myself in this little slideshow as Black Mask. Okay, so it's literally just showing us 3 pictures at a time. For no reason I'll ever understand. It only wants to show us 3 pictures at a time. So click OK, wait for this one to go, and then you'll see the other pictures. And then hopefully we'll figure out why this software doesn't want to actually do the slideshow properly. Okay, another photo. This wasn't from the costume test day, right? This was from the shoot day? Oh, this is the costume test photo? Oh my God, I thought it was the actual. Oh, there's Lemon, the office mascot, and Danny as Harley Quinn having a cute little moment. Lemon's the one doing all the crimes, even though Danny's playing the bad guy. Are you gonna cycle off of this one now, computer? There we go, back to the girl gang. Okay, so it's just going to show us those 3. And then what's the last one? Let's just look at the last photo here. Cycle out of Danny and the dog one more time. Lemon looking funny. See, this dog is hilarious, and she always loves to come on set, because wherever the people are and the people are getting attention, that's where she wants to be. Is it just the same picture in there twice now? I wouldn't be surprised. Let's just say you've seen them all. So as you can see, folks, we're working real hard on trying to get this live stream being something special for you. Why this software doesn't want to do the whole slideshow, I don't know. But I swear to God, the files were all there. I had to delete a few at a time to make it work. Okay, so that is your exclusive preview of the Birds of Prey trailer parody coming out this weekend. Going back to the live chat, we have Amazing Izzy saying, you look so different because normally you were Joker. That's true. You see me as Joker probably more than you see me as anything else, except maybe Iron Man. I do those 2 a lot. Cars High School, the series says, hey, Sean, what is your favorite Iron Man movie? Well, do Avengers movies with Iron Man in it count? Because then I don't even know if there's a basis to say anything other than Avengers Endgame. That movie was just like too amazing. Alex M saying it looks awesome, Sean. He's talking about the Birds of Prey trailer. That is going to be awesome. Ruben, I see you in one of the other live streams. He's got to go to school. We got students. We got people from all over the world of all ages and all educational backgrounds watching this stream. It's quite something to behold. Now, you are going to be able to see that Birds of Prey trailer parody coming out this weekend. That's going to be the new video on the Sean Ward Show coming up this weekend. Now, the other thing that we need to talk about right now is that yesterday's big game, the Super Bowl, was on. I don't know if you watched it. I didn't watch it. We had the game on just because my wife wanted to watch the halftime show with J-Lo and Shakira doing their dance. Ooh, ah, ooh, ooh, ah, ooh, ooh, ah, J-Lo. Ooh, ah, ooh. Is that like my J-Lo moves? But here's why everybody loves tuning into the Super Bowl. The commercials, right? Everybody loves tuning in for the commercials. And more every year, it's a time for you to catch the newest glimpse at all the hot movies coming up that you're dying to see. And in this new case, it even applies to TV shows. For example, what's coming up on Disney Plus? Well, we saw a commercial for it. Falcon and Winter Soldier. WandaVision, Loki, 3 huge, highly anticipated Marvel shows coming out on Disney Plus, and I need you all out there to get in the chat and tell me which of those 3 shows you're most looking forward to seeing. For me, I would have for the longest time said that was going to be hands down Falcon and Winter Soldier. That just looks like the one that's most aimed right at my sensibilities. I'm looking forward to the action. I love Falcon as Captain America, and it's going to be so good, right? But the more I see about WandaVision, the more I think, whoa, this one's really getting at me, because looks like where they're going to like just let loose with all of her comic book dimension mangling powers, whereas before she was just kind of like telekinesis, right? Where she could just like move things with her mind and do that woo kind of magic, throw lasers and stuff. But now she's gonna be like literally messing with the multiverse, and from what we hear, it's gonna all lead straight into the Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness movie. That's gonna be nuts. Can't wait to see that. One thing that I picked up when I looked at this commercial was how the Marvel Studios logo was on blue instead of red. Never seen that before. The Marvel logo is always on red everywhere you see it, but the Marvel Studios logo was on blue this time. I guess that's how they're delineating the movies versus the TV shows. One of the things that I saw discussed or talked about was, are these movies going to be to the production quality? Sorry, are the shows going to be at the level of production of the movies? Are they going to look like movies? Grace Randolph, Beyond the Trailer, shout out. She said that The Mandalorian looked fantastic, but it looked like an expensive streaming show. It didn't look like a movie. Are the Marvel shows going to look like that, or are they going to look like something you pay to see in the theaters? Who even knows at this stage? I just know from this commercial they look awesome. Here's something that I found out just before we went live. In the the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show, because the Falcon is Captain America going into it now, so I got a little, twisted around, because I'm so excited to see Falcon as Captain America. Except that, is he going to be Captain America? Because there's this new guy on the scene called U.S. Agent, and he's going to be taking over a lot of the role of Captain America, because apparently the government is going to be, like, putting it out there that he is the new Captain America. And maybe he is going rogue, or maybe he's secretly mind controlled, or maybe he's working with the bad guys all along. But it looks like there's going to be something going on where Falcon and Winter Soldier are like bad guys as far as the world of the show is concerned, while they're trying to sell this guy, U.S. Agent, as the new Captain America. I love that shot where he's running in at the show's version of the Super Bowl, getting a big high five on the football field. Little factoid that I just found out before we went live was that the guy playing U.S. Agent in this show, Kurt Russell's son. Swear to God. So Kurt Russell, who played Ego in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, his son is now in the Marvel Universe as well. It's a family affair. Very exciting stuff right there. I'll tell you something else that grabbed me about this commercial. Wanda, in her OG comic book costume in the commercial. Oh my God, that looked awesome. Even with that little tied up bow at the front as if it's a Halloween costume, and she had the head thing on. I just love it, because this whole business of multiverse and time travel, what they've opened up and done now is they've given us fan people all the reason in the world to get hyped for this stuff, because it's going to look just like the comics, even though the regular costume is not going to be the same as the comic one, because they got to sell it to like the mainstream audience, or maybe those comic book costumes look silly or whatever, but they always find a way to squeeze in those little nuggets for the comic book fans and make it awesome. That's going to be great. Loki is coming on. That one's going to be awesome as well. One thing I like about the Loki show is that they figured out this interesting way to have their cake and eat it too, okay? So Loki died, presumably, in Infinity War, but then because of the whole time travel thing, he's now escaped into the multiverse. And so the Loki that's running around in this show is presumably the 2012 version of Loki from Avengers 1, before he's learned any lessons that he learned along the way. And it's just back to the old school Loki. And you see a shot of him in what looks like a prison uniform. Apparently there's some time police that have apprehended him, and who knows what kind of mischief he's been causing. But like I said, I just love that they can have their cake and eat it too. The big question that is left hanging out there is, somebody wondered, can Marvel sustain all of this required viewing? I saw somebody who said that it's one thing to expect people to have to watch 2, 3, or even 4 movies in a year to be able to keep up with the overarching big story. But can that sustain when you're requiring people to watch 8 to 10 hours of a TV show on top of 2, 3, and 4 movies? I think it's a no-brainer, because I think the kind of people who are going to want to see everything and be a part of everything and know everything that's going on, that kind of fan, that kind of person is just wanting more, fiending for it all the time, right? So it'll be interesting to see how the movies that come out next year, the year after, 2022, 2023, how those movies, are you going to have needed to watch these shows in order to understand what's going on in those movies? In some cases, I think for sure. In some cases, not. Like if I go watch Eternals is this year, Shang-Chi's next year, right? So if I go see Shang-Chi, maybe there's not a lot in there that I'll feel like I'm lost if I didn't watch the show. But it's sounding very much like if you go see Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness without having seen WandaVision, then you might not know what in the world is going on. The whole weaving of the thing. You know what? Here's what it comes down to. Once upon a time, a comic book editor might have been able to say, I don't know, Stan Lee. I don't know if the readers are going to stand for you making it that all these comic books are interconnected and all the characters know each other and they keep popping up in each other's books. Isn't that going to make people feel like they have to buy every single issue of every single comic book to be able to get the full story? Well, here's the thing. The super fans will. And then the casual fans can just dip in and dip out at their leisure, right? The style of storytelling from comic books is bleeding over into the movies now. And it's actually taking it so that movies, cinema, the art form of cinema, is being transformed before our eyes into this whole other thing. And I, for one, love it. I'm very, very excited for everything that's going on with all of that stuff. Because movies are always going to be there. There's a lot of talk about, like, you hear people complaining, you know, sometimes movie directors get on their high horse or whatever, and they're, like, putting down superhero movies or, you know, saying that Marvel movies aren't even really movies or they don't count as cinema or stuff like that. Well, that's fine, because what we're seeing is it's a whole new art form that's being born, that's being birthed before our very eyes. It's something else. It's beyond movies. It's beyond TV shows. It's both while being neither. I think it's awesome. I've described the Marvel movies for the longest time as a giant TV show that only has a couple of new episodes a year that we pay $20 to go see at the theater and have the shared experience. But now, now there is TV shows week to week, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever it is. And it's all the same thing and it all works. Watch it on the big screen, watch it on the littler screen, and it's all a lot of fun. I love it. I know you love it. And I can't wait for us to be able to talk about how awesome all these new things are. Now, I'm going to pop into the chat right now, and let's see. Amazing Izzy, are you Chinese or something? No, I'm not Chinese. Do I look Chinese? Actually, you know what I did have for a long time? I had people asking me. There's about a good 6-month span a few years ago where I had a lot of people asking me if I was Korean. No, I am not. But my roots go back. Here's an interesting story for you. We just found out in my family, we just found out a couple of years ago, that my roots go back to Finland on my dad's side of the family, okay? So my grandfather, Grandpa Ward, okay, he was adopted. So he knew his whole life that he was adopted, but he didn't know where he came from. So he just found out a few years ago. Imagine that you're like 70-something years old and you get a call and it's, you know, government people or whatever agency that tracks this stuff saying, hey, you just came up in the system as a match. We found some siblings from the family that you're actually originally from. And so you'd be like a 70-something-year-old person who's just like going and meeting your blood brothers and blood sisters for the first time. Like, that would be such a mind mess up. But he was very, very excited to go see them and visit with them. And he got the whole lowdown on the family. And it turns out that our roots go back to Finland. Hence, like the shape of the face, maybe the shape of the eyes, the thick lips, all that kind of stuff. A lot of that kind of stuff made sense after we found that out. Because previously, all I knew was the side of my family that goes back to like England, a little bit of Germany, right? That kind of thing. Just a lot, all over Europe. We come from all over Europe. Shadow Threat. Sean, you are all awesome. I'll take that. Do you know the Bulletproof guy in the Winter Soldier series? Are you talking about the Winter Soldier himself? Or are you talking about somebody else from the commercial or the trailer? Let me know. Put it in the chat. Cos Piano Time asks, what movie are you looking forward to the most? That's tough. Okay, Cos Piano Time. Let me know if you mean generally, overall, because that's a very big question, or if you mean specifically movies that are coming out this year. Because if it's movies that are coming out this year, it's tough. Because on the one hand, I want to say Wonder Woman because it looks the best just from the trailers, but I also have a hunch that Black Widow is going to be packed with all kinds of interesting surprises. And Marvel has never let us down. Marvel has gotten expert over recent years in keeping all the best stuff out of the trailer and making sure that there's some awesome surprises. Also, they're just starting now with this movie, Black Widow, to lay track that's going to lead to and set things up for the rest of the movies in Phase 4 and Phase 5. So maybe you could say that I'm most excited for Wonder Woman because it's the one that right now looks the most all killer, no filler. It looks so good. But Wonder Woman's the one that has me the most intrigued, but I've yet to see if it actually is that thing that I think it could be. Does that make sense? Is that a good answer? If you're just talking about generally, of all the movies we know that are coming out, well, I couldn't even pick because the Batman, I'm mad excited about because it's Batman. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness just sounds like insanity that's just aimed right squarely at my mentality and my interest in the way that I think about like the universe and how things layer and what's beyond what we can see, touch, and feel, you know what I mean? And then, of course, that third Spider-Man movie, whatever's going to come after Far From Home because of what it sets up, the Sinister Six, looking forward to the new villains. It's mostly just that with the Marvel movies especially, what we talked about last week was they've done such a great job of setting up the heroes in the previous phases. They took 10 years to build that huge universe, set up all the heroes, and now it looks like they're going to come out and really knock us on our asses with some amazing villains and some really cool stories and put these heroes that we fall in love with up against some really, really cool challenges. Because, like, as far as, like, marquee villains, what have we got in the movies, in the Marvel movies so far? Like, Vulture from Spider-Man? A B-tier villain that they did something cool with in the movies, but he's not like the big marquee villain from the comics the way you really want to see, right? Ultron, maybe to a certain extent. Thanos, okay, he was awesome in the movies, but how many of your average people even knew who Thanos was, knew what that word was before he was in the movies? You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the kind of villains that like your average Joe man on the street would have heard of, we're starting to get into stuff like Doctor Doom, Galactus, this kind of thing. It's going to be insane. Amazing Izzy says, who is your wife or girlfriend? Well, my wife is a woman named Catherine, a.k.a. Cat, a.k.a. Cat Tat Tat Tat. It's a little nickname we cooked up because gangster like that. And then we got our little baby Izzy at home. And Izzy right now is being introduced to her second solid food. She started avocado on the weekend, and today she's starting on sweet potato. Fun little trivia for you. Alex M says, Black Widow looks awesome too. God of All 537 says, okay, I'm new. New to the stream or new to the channel? Either way, welcome. Was it that camera at the time? Okay, keep it here for a second. Welcome. How about that? Awesome. Okay, now, there's one last topic I gotta come up to. And you know how in the last 2 weeks, at the end of the show, after we covered all of the superhero movie news and what's going on with the channel, I've been talking about like more artistic minded stuff about what it takes to be an artist, to build a business around your creativity. Well, this dovetails in with that because before the stream even started, when it was just that screen saying that I would be live in a few minutes, we had a question that's hasn't refreshed on this screen for some reason. I gotta go to the tab. Where's the tab? Okay. So our friend in the chat, Amazing Izzy, she asked this question, why did you start YouTube? It's such a simple question, but the answer has so many facets to it. And here's the scoop. I started YouTube initially because it was just a way for me to put the videos that I was making to show people at my events. So I'd get like a bed sheet and borrow a projector. So I had a guy that worked at the university, okay? I would borrow a digital projector from him. He would like basically steal it from work and let me borrow it for the weekend, and I'd have to make sure he got back to him in time for him to have it back on Monday. So I'd get a projector borrowed from the university. I'd pin up a bed sheet to a wall in a bar, and this is where I would show my videos that I was making as part of this other event series that I was doing that was all, you know, my little artsy Andy Warhol, trying to be Andy Warhol thing. Okay, so I make my little videos, put them on the screen at the bar, and then I started uploading them to YouTube just so that the people who were at the event could check them out again later when they got home. But then I started to see the potential of YouTube as its own venue, as its own, not like a genre, but like as its own medium. And watching YouTube, the nature of it and what works and what becomes successful on YouTube, watching that change over the years has been really, 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 really interesting. Watching it come into its own, watching the production value and the effort that people put into it has been really, really fascinating. And what's been especially fascinating has been watching the media companies come in and basically take it over. So what used to be this very Wild West, indie-minded alternative culture is now very much the mainstream and is very much there to amplify the mainstream, right? Which is why every year they do their YouTube Rewind, and for the last several years that's just seemed totally redundant, because it's not like YouTube culture is this separate thing from the mass culture. The YouTube culture, YouTube is just there to amplify the mass culture. And it's still ultimately super democratic in that anybody can make a YouTube channel and start uploading at any time. But the corporations are in it now, and they've all but taken over. Go on the trending tab, and how many of those trending videos are clips from late night talk shows that are on the big networks and stuff like this, right? Or how many of them are like big blue chip advertisers and their latest advertising campaign that's got a lot of buzz, right? Today, the Super Bowl was yesterday. I'm sure a lot of the commercials that people saw during the big game are on the trending tab today, probably, or at least people talking about it, right? So YouTube as its own thing is absolutely fascinating. The phenomenon of it is incredible. And ever since I got into it, what I've loved about it in a big way was that when I was in high school, and a couple of friends of mine, we would use a borrowed camcorder and make these silly cop movies during March break, spring break. And we made our little videos and just showed it to people around school or whatever. And I can't help but think about if we had YouTube to upload that stuff to back then and start building an audience with this stuff back then, how different our lives would be. That's neither here nor there. We could just play that game all day. But what's fascinating about it is that when I made that stuff, those little amateur movies during March break with my friends on a camcorder, we had a bit of a leg up with those, I gotta tell you, because what we could do with that, but there's one guy had this one camcorder, how when you press the button, if you guys, anybody who like remembers ancient technology, like what I'm describing, you used to put in a tape and you'd press record and a tape would start going. It would record to a tape. Now, from pressing the button to the tape getting going and the signal recording to the tape, there'd be a delay, typically about 2 seconds. And so editing in camera was very difficult. Timing things with precision was very difficult until my buddy's neighbor, Brad, the camcorder that he had made a beep noise at the exact moment that that delay ended and it was starting to pick up the signal, or stopped, as the case may be. So we could do precise in-camera edits. There was no editing later. There would be, two sides of a conversation. Be like, shoot my side, cut, turn the camera to my friend, shoot his side, cut, turn it back to me, cut. We had to record everything in sequence. A lot of running back and forth around the neighborhood. If we're cutting between two different locations, we got to run over there, shoot the first piece, run back over here, shoot the next piece, run back where we just were to shoot the next piece. Everything had to be in order of what you're going to see. It's a lot of fun, but it's a lot easier to do it with the editing now. So what I'm getting at is that back then, I loved making those camcorder movies so much, and I mean so much. Being the director of those, seeing in my head how it's going to look on screen, picturing it and staging it and all that kind of stuff. I had such a head for it. It was so fun to me. I loved it that I back then was saying, I want to be a movie director. That's what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be a movie director because that's what there was to become, right? Now, the world's a very different place, and those same teenage boys like we were, they could make their silly movie around the neighborhood. And they don't have to use that as a launching pad to build their skills and hopefully one day make it to Hollywood. They could just take that thing that they made and upload it straight away and start building an audience straight away. And this is what I think is so amazing about really not even YouTube, but the internet generally, is this whole fact that we're removing all of the excuses, right? At the end of the day, a person in a previous era might have been able to say, I had all the talent in the world. I had the look. I had the vibe. I was charming, all that stuff. But I never got my shot. The right person didn't discover me. I never did move to LA. Any of these kinds of things, right? A lot of people had a lot of excuses for why their life wasn't what they saw for themselves. What the internet is doing, and YouTube is amplifying and speeding up, is taking away people's excuses. The more anybody can just pick up their cell phone, and the cameras are getting so good that as long as you sit beside a window where the light's coming in and you're lit okay, and you're talking close enough to it that the microphone can pick you up good, and that's all you need to start telling your story, sharing your perspective, getting into what you want to talk about, right? Any person out there watching this right now could start a movie review show today. Or I don't know, forget about movies. What, you like woodworking? You could be a woodworking star beginning today. You like to play chess? You could start a chess show today. Anything that you're interested in, whatever is your unique way of seeing the world. Here, is it on this camera? Put me on this camera real quick. Okay, let's get close now. Whatever is your unique way of seeing the world needs to hear it. And you used to have to jump through a lot of hoops and convince people to put you on. You used to have to convince people to help amplify your message. Now, you just get online and start amplifying your message. And this is what's so great about the internet and YouTube, is it's taking away all of the excuses. Anybody can get going with whatever they want to do right now. That is so exciting. And as a guy like me, whose whole life is devoted to this idea that if people were to follow their passion and whatever is that artistic, creative thing that's inside, if everybody would tap into that and let it loose, the world would be this dream place, right? This is like my fairy tale minded, pie in the sky way of looking at things, right? My best case scenario sort of hope for the world would be that everybody kind of taps into that innate artist, whatever it is that you've got inside you, right? So for a guy like me who looks at the world in this sort of way, it's just nothing but exciting and stimulating to me that anybody can just get going wherever you are with whatever you got right now. The technology is so prevalent. All you need is something that can connect to the internet and something that can capture an image, and you're off to the races. Okay, let's put us back to camera one. Thank you very much. I'm going to do one more check on the live chat. Who do we got here? Who is your wife? Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Go on Instagram and type in Kat Langdon. Here, I'll put it for you. Amazing Izzy. I'll put it in the chat for you. She is Kat Langdon Ward on IG. Or on Twitter, she's just @Kat. She got that username. 3 letters. K-A-T. Hell yeah. Epic C says, I loved the Mandalorian parody. Well, dude, that's what we like to hear. We had a lot of fun making it. It's one of the biggest things we've ever done in terms of the special effects. And we love making it for you. And Michael Eisenman says, once again, the man, the moment, the opportunity coming together with the right attitude. Semper Fi, carry on. Mike the Marine. Oh, I remember you from last week, bro. Thanks for coming back, man. Listen, I'm going to be spitting knowledge about this stuff every week. The whole reason why I do these superhero videos, why I got this YouTube channel, why I'm doing this live stream, all this stuff, going all the way back to when I used to make my own comic book and go in the street and sell them. It was always and continues to be all about trying to amplify this message. That everybody has something important to say, everyone has a perspective on the world that needs to be shared, and that anybody from anywhere can literally accomplish anything they want to in this life. This is the blessing that we have. This is what we've been designed on high to be able to do. is truly express what's in your heart, share your perspective on the world, and do your little thing in your corner of the world to make the world a better place through your art, through your creativity, through unique solutions to interesting challenges, that stuff that only you could have came up with. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you needed to be there at this particular time because there's some piece of the puzzle that's otherwise missing, that only you've got that unique perspective to be able to spot. I know what needs to happen here. I know what I need to make. I know what I need to do. I know how to combine this and this to create something new, whatever. There's a million and one ways you can spin it, but that's what it's all about. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another edition of the Sean Ward Show News, going live here on the YouTube channel, live for all of you to interact with. So thanks to everybody who was in the chat, and thanks to all of you for watching, and anybody who's listening to this later on the podcast, thanks for listening, and come back. We'll be back again, and hopefully we'll have figured out why this streaming software does not want to let us do the slideshows, or we'll use another bit of software to show you the pictures. Whatever the case may be, we'll figure it out. And one day this show will be, we'll figure out what it's going to be. It's going to be what it's going to be. It's going to be its own thing, and we don't even know what it's going to be because we haven't got there yet. But we're helping to get there, and until we get there,